With me, guy? Come on, we're live, brother. Dude. Oh, wow. The lighting's weird up there, though. There you go. That's better. Hey, everybody. It's Mr. Bascom. How are you? I'm doing a live stream from my backyard. It's still kind of a mess out here because, it's still winter. But with, daylight savings coming here today and everything else, I figure it's going to start getting warm. So I wanted to go in my backyard. It was nice out today. I hope you guys got a chance to go outside. Eighth graders, exit project terms and questions. They are due tomorrow. Hey, Jordan. Hey, Lauren. Hey, Mariah. Hey, Caitlin. Wow, I got 4 people writing right away. I like it. I'm holding my computer a little bit because I'm outside and the lighting doesn't look right. Chris G, change that name or I'm going to drop you and block you. Just saying. Adriana, how are you? Eddie, what's going on? Exit project stuff for 8th graders. Once again, you have terms and questions due Thursday. I see some people did share with me today. I need everybody sharing with me. I'm not printing it for you necessarily. I'm your last resort, but I need you to share so I can see where you're at, and it gives me an opportunity to know that you're working on this. Some of you that are writing right now have not shared with me. Yes, Mariah, the terms are due Tuesday, the terms and questions. 15 terms. Relevant to your topic, very specific. So, like if you were writing about September 11th, the terrorist attacks, if you were to say the World Trade Center, very relevant attack, or a term. If you were to say, sad or depressing, not relevant. I need you to be very specific. That's my son walking in the background. Other questions. 7th graders, you are starting work on Lewis and Clark. We watched the video. We did some reading on it. We watched a shorter video clip. I need you guys on top of these things now. So we're going to start working on this. I hope that you are. Kaylin, yes, you should share the terms and questions with me. If you haven't already, please share with your name, your class number, terms and questions. Some people have been sharing with me and they're not putting their name in there, and it's going to make it very difficult to find. So please make sure you're sharing with me. Chris G, you got about 30 seconds before I drop you because I need you to share with a better title than the one you have there. I don't like that one at all, and you know why. All right, so I'm getting ready to drop you. Other people that are on there, I need questions, please. I'm kind of sitting here. I don't want to just talk to myself. It's a little breezy out. I'm in my backyard, like I said. That's my hill, but you can see nothing's growing. It kind of looks like a World War I battlefield because everything's so gray and, nasty looking. Mariah, for presentations, we're going to probably work on the presentation tomorrow, and then I'm preparing for 8:02 to present some on tomorrow, but mostly on Tuesday. Not everyone had the same time to really look at the slideshow. I didn't give you full access to it until yesterday. So it's probably going to be on Tuesday for 8:02. 8:01 will be tomorrow. 8:03 will finish up theirs on Tuesday also. Hey, Cole, how are you? Hey, Zach, how are you? The next quiz, Zach, that's a good question for 7th grade. The next quiz or assessment will probably be not this coming week because I know there's 2 trips for the 7th grade, so it'll probably be the following week, the week of the 16th. Jordan, for your Lewis and Clark project, you should be reading. I really want you guys to find a website or 2 that gives you some information about what they would have brought with them, about their experiences, about their challenges, about their day-to-day routines. There are 5 or 6 websites on the slideshow I shared with you. You should look at those. But I really want you to get a feel for what those characters brought with them, what they needed, and not just for their jobs, but just for their day-to-day life. What kind of clothes they brought, things of that nature. That's Dallas again. Lauren, yes, I know my backyard always looks awesome once everything starts growing in. I'm starting to get a few little tulips growing in my front yard, which is kind of cool. I have a very big yard. I basically live in a miniature forest, so I know good things are coming. Awesome, Jordan. I'm glad you have a lot of things for it. But remember, for the Lewis and Clark project, it's a balance between good storytelling and original voice and factual information. So you can have all the terms and the things for your backpack and that you're bringing with you, your supplies, but it's also got to be an interesting story. You should have an anecdote or two about what you're bringing with you. It's freezing out, by the way. I'm gonna start going inside soon. I'm waiting for more questions. I haven't gotten any questions. I'm going to start walking around with my laptop now because I can. And I want to see if I see Dallas. He's up on the hill. You can see him back there. See him over there by the gazebo. So that's him. Okay. Hey Jeff, how are you? Hey Sammer, how are you? Questions about exit project stuff, questions about terms and questions about Lewis and Clark. Those would be helpful right now. I'm not getting any. All right, so TikTok, we're at 5:37 and counting. They got you. You look like a deer back there, dude. I hope you guys are checking Pupil Path regularly and making sure you're turning in any work that you owe. Caitlin, you watched Johnny Got His Gun. I'm wondering what you think of it. It was kind of a dark, disturbing movie a little bit. It's a little bit, psychedelic almost because it's hard to follow and it was made 50 years ago almost. So I'm curious what you thought about it. Other questions about exit project stuff, about my class, about Lewis and Clark projects. I need to get them. Jeff, for your Lewis and Clark assignment, I would start with just talking about why you're there. Like, how were you invited to come on this expedition? Did Lewis or Clark reach out to you? Why? Did you know them? What's your skill? Like, why did they want you there? You understand? It wasn't like they were asking a million people. They only asked a very small group of people. So you must have some skill or some ability that they find useful. So whether you're a tracker or a map maker, or you're good on a boat, or you're good in the wilderness, that might be why. So I would start with telling a little bit about yourself. Lauren, for the terms and questions, I would have more than 15. 15 is the minimum. But if I find a problem wrong with one of those terms, then I'm not gonna count it. So if you have 20 terms, say hi, Kylie.
Hi.
She's up in a room. I don't know if you can see here. So if you have 20 terms, that covers you in case I don't count a couple of the terms because they're not specific or relevant enough, or if they're misspelled. For the questions, the same thing. I asked 10 as the minimum. I would have 13. You want to make sure that you have more than enough in case one of the questions isn't specific enough, isn't relevant enough, in case it's a little too basic. Again, terms and questions are due on Tuesday. Yes, they are due on Tuesday. Yes, Cole, you can ask questions about your vocabulary. If you ask me one of the terms now, what I recommend is tell me the topic that you have first. You can use it for now, but don't go far with that, okay? My son's out exploring in my yard that's all washed out. We haven't really been out here. It's been the first warm day since probably November. So he's just kind of exploring around, which you should be doing too. Cole, I'm waiting for your questions, brother. Come on. Let me set this down here. Okay. Can you see me okay? Do I look dark? I look dark now, I think. I can only see myself. Questions. Come on. It's 8:29. I'm going to be turning off soon. I want to have dinner soon. What are some questions you might have about your terms, about your questions for exit project? For Lewis and Clark, some questions about what you should bring, what you should be working on. Mayapack, that's not far from here. Okay. That's about a half hour from here, Lauren. Any other questions or topics? Tatiana. Hi, how are you? I see in class you said not to start the question. So how do we start by answer that? I don't understand. For your exit project questions, Tatiana, I think I'm trying to figure out what you're saying. You're not going to start your essay with a question, but these are the questions that your essay will answer. So if you were writing about causes of World War I gave you all that information. The first question I might have is, what are some of the four main causes of the war? Another question I might have is, why were countries starting to add more colonies at that time? That might be a good question for that time. Zach, if we have a trip on Tuesday, what do you do about the questions? What are you talking about, Zach? Zach, There's no questions due to you. You're in 7th grade. I'm talking about the 8th grade with the questions. All right. Zach, sometimes I don't know if you're understanding. I'm talking to 8th graders or 7th graders. You don't have anything due to me, Zach, on Tuesday. So if you have your trip, good luck. Enjoy your trip. I know a lot of you are going. But there's nothing due from the 7th grade this week. The entire project will be due the following week. Okay. Any other questions? Kayla, I'm glad you liked it. I'm wondering if any of you are reading the book too. If you want the book, come speak to me. I know Miss Skorka's reading it right now. For the terms, I don't know who hello is, but for the terms, I'd rather they were not people or places. They should be very specific terms. So if you're talking about the Cuban Missile Crisis, you shouldn't say Cuba. You could say Havana. I'll take one or two places, but I don't want dates. I don't want people. I don't want place. I want specific terms that have to do with your topic. All right. Any other questions about terms, questions for exit projects for the 8th grade or for Lewis and Clark for the 7th grade? No? All right. Any other questions? I'm going to take a quick walk around. You can kind of look over my shoulder. I'm on my laptop, so it's kind of weird. All right. Not on my computer, unfortunately. There's not a computer on. There's not a camera on the other side on the newer ones. And if I went mobile, that would be awesome. So if you get me to 1,000 subscribers, I can do that. I could do it on Instagram, but I like this better. I think it's more permanent on YouTube. I got to watch where I'm going while I'm talking because this is kind of weird. It's all my house, kind of walking from my backyard to my front yard. John Brown, he is not a term, but if you mentioned abolitionist, if you mentioned the Arsenal, if you mentioned something like Harper's Ferry, Virginia, because that's a very specific place, those are good terms. But John Brown by himself, no, he is not. He should not be on that list. Questions about what John Brown did or how he did what he did or why he did what he did, those would be good. Samara, I'm not going to do an Instagram today. This is kind of what I'm doing today. I'm going to be cutting out very soon. Tatiana, any other questions? That was a good question. It was a very good specific question that people aren't asking. So I'm hoping for some specific questions. Lauren G, I'm not going to give you too many answers here, but think about for child labor, think about industrialization, think about industry leaders or robber barons, like we called them in class, or captains of industry. What were they doing and producing? What were they paying their workers? Think about the conditions in those factories and places where they worked. All right, that would be really helpful as far as your terms. You also might want to think about, because you can have a couple of people. I mean, by a couple, I mean two. Think about some very specific key people that worked towards ending child labor or creating new child labor laws. Speaking of terms, child labor laws, go find some. There are some. That's not one. Don't just write child labor. That won't work. But there were some laws that were created. Go find them. You're welcome, Lauren. Any other terms or questions? All right. I wish you'd ask because I'm carrying this MacBook Pro and I'm walking, so I can't really see where I'm going. So if you see me looking at the ground, that's why I don't want to trip. That would probably be funny to you, but I'd fall and break my computer. Any other terms, questions, thoughts on that, or any other Lewis and Clark project stuff on that? Ask me now, because by the time I get back to my original spot, I'm going to log out. I'd love to hear some. Even if you have any questions about, just life in general. All right, I'm back. All right, worksheets that you gave us. You can use worksheets. Yes, absolutely. Any of the worksheets I've been giving you over the years, if they're helpful to your topic, please use them. Don't plagiarize me. Don't steal my sentences and paragraphs and things, but absolutely use what I've taught you. That's kind of why I teach it to you. My day was good. I did a lot of yard work outside, a lot of raking of leaves and things like that because it was kind of warm out. And then I watched this really cool movie with Kylie called Freaks on Netflix. I don't know if any of you saw it, but it was really cool. And she liked it a lot. It was kind of a little bit like the main character was kind of like 11 on Stranger Things a little bit, I thought. I liked it. She liked it. We liked it. Now I'm going to get ready for dinner. Any other questions, guys? All right. Hope you had a great weekend. Again, if you have any questions or concerns, you should always email me at kbascom2@498vanestacademy.org. You should also be sharing your work with me. All right, guys. I'll see you soon. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.